Welcome to Today at Keeneland, Friday, October 9th. 10-race card in store yet again, and we make a return to the stakes schedule with our feature today, the Grade 3 Buffalo Trace Franklin County Stakes for the fillies and mares. 3 and up sprinting that 5.5 furlong distance on the firm, actually good listed going, good is what the designation is right now for the turf course. Scott Hazelton, Gabby Gaudet with you. It's a good race. You got Stormy in there, a filly that's now been turned into a sprinter, thanks to Mark Casse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's been pretty versatile in her form thus far, but it seems like she's coming out of a very strong race. We'll talk more about that later, Scott, but I did have the opportunity to talk to Tyler Gaffalione yesterday, and he was just so impressed with her performance last time.
We'll dive into the featured event in just a few moments, but let's take a look back at what occurred yesterday on the 10-race program. It was Make-A-Wish Day. If you've yet to make a donation, we urge you to do so, as we had a strong undercard. We had some breakout performances, including the colt from the champion mare of Dreaming of Anna. The Wayne Catalano barn was going good yesterday, 2 wins. He says that he's going to win the last today, so keep that in mind. And Mike Maker, he's been on a roll the last few days. He picked up 3 more victories yesterday, headlined by Mr. Dumas, the winner of the featured event.
And Mr. Dumas was very impressive. You can see a couple of congratulatory love taps there from Tyler Gaffalione to Mr. Dumas. And we also saw a nice winner in Iliad for trainer Chad Brown as well. So overall, a really nice day of racing, and it continues today with some stakes action.
Let's get you teed up for today. Start with the weather. Here's WKYT.
Forecast for us out at the track today is looking pretty good overall. I mean, the gray skies out there. That should be about it. A little more cloud cover. Temperatures running on the warmer side, probably maxing out in the mid and upper 70s in most cases out there. A lot of cloud cover. Gets just a little breezier, I think, as we make our way toward the evening hours. Other than that, no real change, but it stays dry. That weekend, though, keep in mind, we've been talking about it here the past few days, it's going to get sloppy out there as rounds of rain will start pressing into the area early tomorrow morning and then again on Sunday. So some of those races might be a little bit dicey out there. Have a great day and good luck out there.
And looking at the forecast for the weekend, it continues to become less and less each time I check it. Just over an inch combined over the Saturday and Sunday forecast. At one point in time, Gabby, it was up close to 2 inches. So hopefully it continues to lower as far as the forecast with that big storm coming up from the south. All right, what comes first, social media or handicapping picks, Gabby?
Handicapping picks.
Okay, you nailed it. Presented by TVG.
Yes. Got it.
We like the same horse in race number 1. We've got some commonality in race number 6 as well, and differing opinions as far as where we've got our horses slotted with their top 3 selections. But don't forget, you can find these picks on the Keeneland app. Make sure you download that Keeneland app, and you can check out the entire card picks from ourselves, as well as Tom Leach, Jeremy Plonk, and we've got the write-ups for each and every race as well. So that's presented by TVG, our full card picks. Time now for the social media. On Facebook, you can give us a follow at Keeneland. Same on Twitter, at Keeneland Racing is our handle on Twitter. If you want to give a handle or a follow to the sales side of things, at Keeneland Sales is where you can give that a follow on Twitter, at Keeneland on Instagram. And don't forget to download the Watch TVG app. You can get both networks, TVG and TVG2, in HD full-time, as well as on-demand content and various track feeds. Download that Watch TVG app on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It continues to be one of the top ways to watch TVG. The Racebook is another thing that you need to check out on Watch TVG. All right, let's jump into our featured event as we like to start the Today at Keeneland race coverage and previewing, and we'll go to the Grade 3 Buffalo Trace, Franklin County. Couple of scratches. Bohemian Bourbon is out. Tomlin's scratch will run later on this weekend, but you've got Stormy, the 6-5 morning line favorite.
And look, she is probably the deserved favorite, but the biggest question, Scott, is whether or not she's going to be most effective at 5.5 furlongs. She's gone longer distances before in the past. We talk about it often. Those 6.5 furlong turf races at Kentucky Downs kind of translate more to a mile here. So she's going against true, traditional, really top-class turf sprinters, and we'll see if she can pull it off today.
And the filly that I'm going to go to on top here is a filly that I don't know that we've actually seen quite the best of her yet. That is Into Mystic, the daughter of Into Mischief. You and I saw her win her race at Ellis Park as part of that Kentucky Downs preview day Prior to that, she was in Southern California. Prior to that, she was over in New Mexico. And we go back to that Kentucky Downs preview day in which she dashed off and won by a length and a half. The turf was listed as soft, but you can see the quick fraction, so it couldn't have been that soft on the afternoon. Then she was stepped up into that 6.5 furlong run in the ladies sprint at Kentucky Downs. That was where Got Stormy won. I just think that the return to 5.5 furlongs, the good listed firm going, whatever she's going to ultimately be getting at 5:30 Eastern time will be to her liking. Her numbers are strong. This is a filly that was right there with some serious runners in Jolie Olympica, as well as Alexandra, who we saw pick up a stakes win here last year at Keeneland. That was in her last race in Southern California. Into Mystic is a filly that has a lot of talent. She's made over $243,000. I think today she struts her stuff and stamps herself a spot in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Got Stormy is my second choice underneath. You've got to respect her. Mark Cassidy saying that he feels that her speed is going to be more effective come Breeders' Cup time in the sprint distance versus taking on the top milers in the world when the turf may be a little bit on the softer side come early November. So that's why they have gone this route. And then Chalone for Arnold Delacour. This is a filly mare, rather, who's made close to $1 million racing on dirt. Now they try her on grass. I find it interesting. I'm going to trust Delacour here with a filly that has been very good over the course of her career. Who knows? Maybe she perks up and puts together a strong effort today. So it's Into Mystic over Got Stormy and Chalone, my top three.
Can't tell you how many times I've picked Chalone, and I don't use her in the top three today. So, Scott, she's probably a sure bet here to win. The 8 Change of Control is who I land on. I'm just leaning towards those traditional turf sprinters. Now, Change of Control does come out of the last race against Got Stormy, 6.5 furlongs over the soft going at Kentucky Downs. I don't think she wanted any part of that. You look at her race 2 starts back, it was on the dirt. So you can, all considering, I thought she ran okay. Looked at her race 3 starts back at Churchill Downs, and we'll roll back this tape. This was on the 19th of June, in which she beat Winning Envelope in that event. She paired up back-to-back wins in May and in June at Churchill Downs, and she actually had a pretty decent record over the course of the winter down at Fairgrounds as well. So she's been close, Scott, and I think you can give her a pass for her last 2 races because it's not the types of conditions that she likes. So now that she gets back to the preferred surface, the preferred distance, I think she sits the right trip, and she will be a price. She's also had good races, or one good race at Keeneland here before in the past. She finished second to Stillwater Cove, who I also thought was a little bit of a contender here. My issue with Got Stormy, and you know this as well as I do, Scott, there's a difference between turf miler speed and turf sprint speed. And I just wonder if Mark is right and she's going to be able to kind of keep up with these traditional sprinters. The true test is today, but she is definitely one you have to use whatever wagers you're making, because she is the class of the race. There's no question about that. And then Jakarta, I think she's very quick, and she might be the quickest of all for Mike Maker. She also seems pretty versatile. She won 6.5 furlongs last out, and then 5.5 at Saratoga. She ran a good race in the Caress. So those are the top 3, but we'll show the pick 4 later. I actually used 4 in there, including your top selection.
It's come to the point, though, right, with Mike Maker, you just can't leave anything off the ticket, especially when he's got Castellano here as Gaffleone goes to Got Stormy, but this Gaffleone Mike Maker angle has been strong over the past few days, so you have to really pay attention to that. Speaking of Tyler Gaffleone, let's listen to him on Got Stormy, thanks to Tom Leach.
Tyler Gaffleone's going to be aboard Got Stormy, going to be the favorite in the Buffalo Trace Franklin County. First of all, tell me what you've sensed under you when you've been on her lately, as she seems to have gotten back on top of her game.
Absolutely. She's getting back into form. Mark sent her up to New York for the summer. She seems to do really well up there. She got back on track. She ran a huge race in the 4-Star Dave. Came back and ran Dynamite down at Kentucky Downs on the cutback. But she's coming in this race great form. I know they're thrilled with the way she's been coming in, so we're all really excited.
Any concern about the 5.5 furlongs?
Not necessarily, no. Last time we cut back to 6.5, she handled it no problem. She's got a lot of natural speed, so I'm sure she'll be able to put herself in the right spot.
And the turf seems pretty firm, and that's the way she prefers it, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's rock hard out there. Hopefully the rain can stay away and we can have a good race day tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Tyler Gaffleone, he'll be aboard the favorite Got Stormy in the Buffalo Trace Franklin County Stakes.
So, yeah, we thought it would be firm, too. It's actually listed as good as we talked about at the top here, Gabby. That was something that was thrown at us right as we were coming up on today at Keeneland. Not exactly why it's listed as good, because we've not had any rain over the last 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it's been. So something that we're going to have to certainly look into as to why it's listed as good.
Yeah, for sure. I really don't know. I'm confused, but it was very hard yesterday. I do know that. Some very quick times over the course of the past couple of days. So we will try to get to the bottom of it. But, I think that's a testament to Got Stormy's performance last time out, because as Tyler said, she really likes a firm turf course, and she did not get that last time out. So that just goes to show you how strong her performance was last out.
She is classy. There's no question about it. Good luck to Gary Barber and the team with Got Stormy today. All right, time now for our key races of the day, races in which Gabby and I handpick from each and every card and want to focus our attention to. And I'm going to go early in the card with both of my key races, starting with race number 2. This is a $32,000 claimer, 7/8 of a mile is the distance. Scamania is the morning line favorite at 5-2 for Mike Maker. It's Santana who rides here today, but I'm going to go to Keep Your Distance, the number 1 horse in this spot. She comes off of a 6.5 turf try at Kentucky Downs, where she didn't run all that bad, but she gets back to dirt, and she gets back to a level in which makes a lot of sense for her. Let's go to her Saratoga race, the day that Diodoro claimed her for Heads Up Racing, and she had the lead at the top of the stretch going 7 furlongs. She ends up involved in this battle. She's close to 7-1 on this afternoon, ends up in this battle with the eventual winner who comes over the top to get her, but she battles back and is only beaten the neck. I think the competition here today will be to her liking. She's always speedy. She's got the inside post. Hopefully she breaks sharp in here, but you can see in the later stages just getting beat at the wire for 25,000. Gets back on dirt today. A lot of angles to use, especially with Diodoro. Second off the claim, he's 25% with his runners. 1-2-5 in race number 2 for me. Scamania underneath, and then Namazar, another one for Diodoro, and M&M Racing. This is an operation. They won a lot of races, especially at Oaklawn, and they've won plenty of races down at Lone Star. They tend to be aggressive. They are here to win races, and they're going to be aggressive with Nomazar as she takes the drop down in class, so you got to respect her based on that alone. I will keep the ball rolling, move right into race number 3. In the next key race, non-winners a 2 for $50,000 claiming event. Another 7 furlong run. It's a wrap for Clark Brewster and Steve Asmussen, the morning line favorite at 5-2. And you can see the wide open nature of the morning line in this third race. I do go to It's a Wrap, the son of Twirling Candy, who was claimed 2 starts back for $40,000 at Saratoga, had been running some good races. You look at the fact that this gelding started off his career on dirt when running against Maiden Specialway Company and was running good races then, and he really hasn't run a bad race to date. Off of the claim, this is his follow-up race for Steve Asmussen at Churchill Downs, going 6.5 furlongs. Sat just off the pace and kicked on to win by a length as the favorite, likely the favorite here today. But I thought that this race was good enough to be productive here today for 50 non-winners at 2, not forcing the issue, jumping this horse up in class, just putting him right back in the same sort of spot that he was effective at in breaking his maiden. He ran a quick time for 6 furlongs, finishes up in 1:17 flat. 7/8 of a mile based on that run should not be an issue. It's a wrap for me over Trash Talk and Yankee for Tom Vanberg. Cutting back in distance is the angle for the number 2 horse with Florent Giroux in the saddle. And then the third choice is the number 5 horse, Hirsch, who ran against Sir Halford James, a horse that I was leaning on earlier here in the meet. Didn't quite run to snuff, but this is a drop in class angle for Hirsch that should wake him up. 1-2-5 in race number 3.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
We're
Thanks for being
moving on.
patient. Race 8 for you.
Yeah, we're going to move on to race 8 here. It's a 3 other than allowance optional claimer. The 4, looking at bikinis, is your lukewarm 3-1 favorite there with Javier Castellano in the irons and for Chad Brown. This race at 7 furlongs on the dirt, and this is easily a graded stakes race, Scott. It is not a 3 other than. Well, a lot of the time you see 3 other than races are equivalent to a graded stakes race, but that's what you get with this particular race. I had a tough time with it, but ultimately I did land on the number 3, Coppertown. I just think he's a horse that's in very good form. His buyer speed figure came up a little bit on the lower side last time out, but I don't think that he ran to his full potential. I think trainer Wesley Ward just wanted to find an easy spot for him last time out to kind of set him up for this race too. But we'll go back to his race 2 starts back, which was here at Keeneland during the summer meet, where he was defeated 3/4 of a length to CZ Rocket, who would go back out west and take back-to-back grade 2 races. And he seems like he's one of the top sprinters in that in the division. So I thought that this was a very good race. Look, he's got question marks around him. Okay, he has only 10 starts and he's a 6-year-old. He's had a lot of starts and stops throughout his career, but he certainly has been impressive in his last 2 races, and he comes back to a track that he definitely likes. I'll also use the number 2 Hog Creek Hustle in here. Scott, I thought the campaign with him was a little bit interesting just because they tried the turf with him. They tried to stretch him out at one point, and I just think he is a sprinter. 7 furlongs is fine for him, but he likes to sprint on the dirt, and we saw that kind of all come together for him last time out, where he ran a really good second performance and against Midnight Sands too. I mean, I think that was a quality field. So I'll be using him in second, and then the 4 looking at bikinis. You know, the biggest question is whether or not he'll be fit to go this distance today. The last time we saw him was when he was running in the Cigar Mile against Maximum Security. So it's been a long time, and this is not an easy field today, Scott.
It isn't, but if he has it together as he had in those last couple of races, they may all be running for second because he just might be that much better. But the layoff is the big question mark for looking at bikinis here today. I think he might be a little bit vulnerable based on what you mentioned as far as coming back at this distance. So that's race number 8. We'll jump back into that again in the late pick 4 discussion. But you're going to go to the nightcap. What did you like here in race number 10?
Well, I should have listened to Wayne Catalano. Well, I was listening to him yesterday, but
hard not to
unfortunately,
listen to him yesterday.
Yeah, it was too little, too late. He loves Ocean Breeze and Lola, so I'm just putting that out there. I did not use her in the top 3, but I definitely used her in the Big 4 sequence. Again, we made these picks days in advance, but I did land on the number 4, She Can't Sing. I think she'll offer a little bit of a price here for trainer Chris Block. You look at the horses that she's run against recently, especially her race 2 starts back when she went against Monday Call, who was really impressive in that race at Keeneland. And then her most recent race, again, she went against the likes of Palamita and even Ocean Breeze. I believe we have that race where all of these horses come out of it. So not only pay attention to She Can't Sing, but also Palamita and Ocean Breeze, who finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. But She Can't Sing didn't really have an easy trip. She was kind of buried down on the inside from the one. She broke from the rail. She was the one horse, and you can see her behind kind of a wall of horses. She never got the room that she needed to really run on. And then in the last part of it, she kind of has to angle down towards the rail and finish out. But I didn't think that she was too far behind Palamita and Ocean Breeze in terms of talent, Scott, and she's going to be a much better price. So I do like all of those, but I prefer her there in the nightcap.
That's a tough race. I appreciate the confidence from Wayne Catalano, but what about Lady Rocket in there too?
Yeah.
For Frank Fletcher and Brad Cox? I mean, her debut win was good. She did so from the rail. I'll tell you why I like her even further once we get into the late pick 4 analysis, which is coming up pretty quickly here on Today at Keeneland. But now time to take you to the Clocker Report. We'll go mid-card, just past mid-card, races 6 and 7, the focus. Gear Jockey, you may remember him from last year's Breeders' Cup when he almost sprang a massive upset. He's part of the Clocker Report. On the 6th of September, worked a half a mile, has been training well, return to grass will help, has a ton of back class. Gear Jockey was 67-1 at Santa Anita last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and he was only beaten a length by Structor and Billy Bat, so came very close to springing that big-time upset, and he hasn't been on grass since then. He's had 2 dirt races since then, so that's the reference on the return to grass. And then Larimar in race number 7, just days back on the 2nd of October, a half mile in 47-4, looked good in that recent local breeze, dropping to a tag like his chances. So race 6, the 7, race 7, the 2 with the Clocker Report. Yesterday, we were all about the late pick 4. Actually turned out to be pretty chalky in the end. I mean, I think we had 3 favorites, and then Mr. Dumas was the biggest price in that late pick 4. Gabby, he was 7-2. What do you think about this sequence here today?
I still think it's really tough. I think the feature is really tough, and I think the last race is really tough. So, you know, a lot of the time I like to keep my ticket under $50. Today I had to invest a little bit more, and I spread most in race 9. The first leg of the sequence is the 7th race. It's a $30,000 claiming event. I went 2, 3, 6 in there. 2, 3 are probably the class, but the 6 not a problem. I thought was very interesting for Rusty Arnold coming back to the dirt. Has been on the turf for several tries, but looks like he might be just as good on the main track. In the 8th race, 2, 3, 4, for me, the top pick is the 3 Coppertown I mentioned. I thought this was a very tough race too, but I also use Hog Creek Hustle, and of course looking at Bikinis, who was very good when we last saw him, but we last saw him back in December of last year. The 9th race is the featured event, 2, 5, 8, and 10. I mentioned the 2 into Mystic is definitely a filly that I want to use, but I do prefer the 5 and the 8 Change of Control, and of course you have to use the 10 Got Stormy in there. And then finally in the nightcap, race 10, 4, 6, and 9. I think I left out the 7 by accident, Lady Rocket. But anyway, if you have the funds to do that. Oh, that is a single. I'm going to play another ticket and single the 7. How's that?
Just don't let Wayne Catalano know. That's all, because he'll be all over us here come 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to go 2 deep to start off this late pick 4, guaranteed at $200,000 and presented by TVG. Larimar and the 3 horse behind the couch, I think, are the obvious ones in for $30,000, especially Larimar on the drop in class. As far as race number 8, it's wide open. I'm going to use 4 horses in here. The main ones that we've discussed so much here on today at Keeneland, Coppertown, looking at Bikinis. The number 6 horse, Lasting Legacy for Brett Calhoun. I think that he's going to be tough in here. And then Rubus for Phil Bauer ran a massive race last time out and won by 2 lengths in 108 and 4. We'll see if he can step up and continue with the trend that he has been on and the upward trend that he's been on. But it is a step up in class here today. As far as the Buffalo Trace Franklin County Stakes, I'll go 4 deep. Into Mystic, my top play. The number 5 horse, Jakarta, Maker on the grass, just anywhere. Just here at Keeneland, bottom line, you got to use him. The number 10 horse, Got Stormy. And then Shalone, we'll see what she's about as she tries turf for the first time. And then in that final race, 0 to 60, the filly by American Pharaoh. Out of the Grade 1 Prior S winner, that's Cat Moves, the daughter of Tail of the Cat. This filly is bred to handle the dirt. Watch out for her. That's the 3 in the 10th. The 6 Palomita for Chad Brown. And then Lady Rocket to round them out. I didn't use Ocean Breeze in there. Maybe I should just play a ticket singling Ocean Breeze with the other selections I have to begin. Maybe we'll play 2 separate pick 4 tickets. What do you think, Gabby?
Something like that.
Or just bet Ocean Breeze in the nightcap. That might be the smartest thing to do to back myself up, right?
Perfect.
Get to that point and hopefully have myself in line for a pick 4 win, and then back myself up with Ocean Breeze with a win bet, depending on what her odds are. Maybe an across-the-board bet. Best angle of the day, you go to race number 6. What's the angle here?
Yeah, so this is a 1.16 turf race, a maiden special weight. We already mentioned the likes of Gear Jockey in here, but the morning line favorite is Telephone Talker, the number 1 horse. I go in a completely different direction with a horse that is making his turf debut, and that's the number 3, Dreams of Tomorrow, the son of Speightstown out of the Medaglia d'Oro mare, Sabbatical, who is a half to Imagining, Grade 1 winner on the turf. We'll take you back to this horse's race 2 starts back, and I know it was on the dirt. It was a course listed as good that day. Obviously, you see that there's not that much moisture in it, so it is a big question of whether or not this horse can get not only the surface change, can move forward with the surface change, but also the distance. He has not gone longer than 7 furlongs before in his career, and today he's asked to not only try the turf for the first time, but also do it at a mile and a 16th. But just based on his pedigree, Scott, it just seems like he should be able to move forward. And I think a lot of focus will go on the 1 Telephone Talker and the 7 Gear Jockey. You see Breeders' Cup in the running line, so I hope we get a decent price on this horse, but I am kind of, throwing a dart at the wall here with this horse, but it does seem like the pedigree would suggest that he should be pretty good on the turf.
I'm going to go to race number 8 for my best angle of the day. I really do like this race. There's a lot to like in here. And here's another look at that morning line, looking at Bikinis 3 to 1 on the morning line. You've got Grade 1 winner Hog Creek Hustle at 6 to 1, and then Coppertown, a recent winner at Belterra, got that confidence builder off of that tough beat to CZ Rocket, who set the track record during the summer meet here at Keeneland. 2 starts ago. He was part of that race. I'm going to play an exacta here, and the exacta is 3-4-6 over 2-3-4-6. I think Hog Creek Hustle can rally up and get in that second slot. But the 6-horse Lasting Legacy, what I like about this son of Tapizar is they're not forcing the issue with him. He's run through his conditions. They could have run him, say, in the Stoll Keenan Ogden Phoenix Stakes back on opening weekend, but instead of doing that and putting him in a vulnerable position, they're just going to stick with what works. And we go back to his Churchill Downs race on the 4th of September, where he wins by a head and actually ends up being disqualified. This was on Kentucky Oaks Day. You and I were part of this coverage on TVG2, where the stewards really seemed as though they were sending a message to the riders for Derby weekend, hey, we're not going to mess around. And this ended up being a justified disqualification in the end, in both of our opinions, as he came out here late in stretch to Honest Mischief. But Lasting Legacy, he's proven at this level. I don't think 7 furlongs will be an issue. He can come from off the pace if they outrun him early. I just like the fact that they're running him for 80. He's made over $255,000, not forcing it. And Gary and Mary West, they just seemed as though they trust they have some of the best trainers in the game with Baffert, Calhoun, Wayne Catalano. They allow these trainers to run horses where they best are fit. And this is the case with Lasting Legacy here today. I really do like him in that 8th race, which is certainly going to turn out to be a good one in the end and part of the late pick forward.
The more we talk about these races, the more I feel like we need to invest.
We are going to go to Tom Leach's pick of the day, race number 5. He likes Ashley's new shoes. Gabby does have new shoes on today. I'm happy to report that, and they are not slippers.
Swapped out the slippers.
8-1 on the morning line, working well here for her first start off the layoff. Gets Giroux and has never run at a level this low. So it is Tom Leach, his pick of the day, Ashley's new shoes in that 5th race. There was a rumor that you were out on a horse this morning, Gabby Gaudet. Is that true? Did I hear that you were out on a pony this morning?
The rumor is true.
What were you doing out there?
His name's Duke. Doing some testing. Got some exciting things in the pipeline if it all works out, but we know how that goes.
Maybe some horseback reporting in the not-too-distant future from Gabby Gaudet come Breeders' Cup week. For Gabby, I'm Scott. Enjoy today at Keeneland. What a wonderful card we've got in store for you, headlined by the Buffalo Trace, Franklin County. Enjoy.